Let's see if we have a sound. All right. So today is 30th of July, Sunday, and what I wanted to show you is some archaeological artifact which was found on the river of Volga. As you can see, this looks like ancient melting furnace, and probably it's supposed to melt some like bronze and maybe even iron. And it was found close to the river Volga, so it's actually the shore of Volga River, the famous Russian river, which was called Ra River, as I was explaining in my probably first couple of videos. So this is how it looks like, and actually this is just the bottom layer of the shoreline of Volga River. So it's like very, very deep. And scientists which do research this think that it's located in a Cinnamans sands, as they call it. Cinnamon sands, which is like 100 million years old. So basically those sands are called the sands of 100 million years old. So I suppose this is just unawareness and what do we call, no interest to real and even alternative theories which occur right now. So probably this is just the circumstances of the mud flood, basically. So that's how this place supposed to be buried in those sands and stuff like that. So this is pretty deep, in fact, but this is how it looks like. It's like 5 meters and 30 centimeters wide and about 5 meters in height, and 1 feet in thin. I don't know what do you say. Wide the inside of this melting furnace is just 1 feet, like this one. So what else? This is like what these areas supposed to look like, and those pictures were found by one of our researchers who was actually posting about this finding, because nobody was actually posting about it, and it's really strange, because if it's really located in such deep sands, and if it's really so old, why don't we just like hear in all those medias, mainstream media, about the sensation? Because just imagine 100 million years old is a layer of sand in which it was found. So it kind of proves that people 100 million years ago could have made melting metals like bronze and iron, which is completely doesn't fit in the history that we know in official way. So this is kind of weird. So I suppose we are supposed to, like, I'm gonna leave the link to this reference so you can like check it by yourself. And here we got the blueprints, how it could have been looking. So it's like coal, and it's like iron ore, and this is like blacksmith air pump, I don't know, whatever you call it. And guess what? Just a couple of maybe 30 meters down the stream, down the tide of this river, we can see another one just like that. So this is like less preserved than the first one, just like one part of it is left, but still it's just the same thing. So this kind of proves they have like a production of metals here 100 million years ago. I guess not. I guess it was a lot, not that far ago from our time. Only it was covered with mud after the flood of 19th, 18th, maybe even 17th century. Who knows how many floods did people actually survive after those wars that were occurring here. So that was actually the main news that I wanted to describe. So technological mud fossils, I don't know if I'm correct in saying that, are also observed at the Wise Up channel, but I'm not really a big fan of such research because I have a lot more, I don't know, have more obvious things like mud flood and first floors which are buried in the ground. That's what I research right now, and I'm preparing to do the documentary, produce the documentary next year. Probably that's going to be next summer. And I'm not really a great fan of what these mud fossils guys do. And I watched a couple of videos of Wise Up, and I can say I agree with him in many things. But as what I can say, any kind of research is respected. And even if you don't agree with something, we are not sure for 100%. You know, just like we are not sure about the giants, which are fossilized or petrified and looking like huge mountains with the faces of giants and stuff like that, which is really funny for persons who want to make fun of it, because really we can disrespect anything. We can disrespect shadows, we can disrespect holes in the walls which look like eyes and nose, I don't know, nose holes, whatever you call it, you name it. So we can disrespect anything and make fun of anything. This is really good because this is funny and people may be watching this, but I'm not this type of person. I don't disrespect you guys. Both of you guys, Age of Disclosure, which is Arjun, and with Roger Spur, I don't know if he is engaged in this conflict that you guys have right now, which doesn't look very nice to me to watch this on my Facebook list or whatever subscription feed. And you Wise Up also supposed to be a pretty wise man, and you answer to these provocations that they did to you. Of course, this is not very good for them, and I'm not judging any of you guys, but I don't think you're that young to argue that way. I think you should do like a hangout, I don't know, or chatting or public discussion on what you guys are disrespecting in research of each other, and that would be pretty nice, and not saying anything in the back of a person who is not really listening to you right now because he is like mad and pissed off and stuff like that. I don't know what's really the point that you argue about, and I'm not here to debunk you guys, but this is not really good to post such things. Like we can see those throwing flames of crap coming out of your channels, guys, which is not very good. And really wise up, if we're talking about what you do, what you try to research, I'm not really a great fan of such work, because if you talk about petrified wood or petrified iron or petrified mechanism, you have to, like, walk by your feet to that subject which you are discussing right now, and do a little more research, not just showing us pictures and sticking it to the display of your computer. This is not very good, and doesn't sound completely correct to prove it this way. I think you're right sometimes, and maybe you're right hundreds of times out of hundreds of your tries. And I'm not really sure if I'm wrong or right sometimes, because I'm just, talking about my opinion, my point of view. So this is pretty good to do any kind of research to move this thing to another level, to attract people's opinions and points of views. But I think you're supposed to, like, back a little more, not just pointing us to the pictures that you find surprising and really incredible sometimes. What you find with those mechanisms and your guesses are really cool. But I think you watch those pictures too much and don't walk around and just do something, you know. At least I didn't see any videos. You did any. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong. So take it easy, guys, and just, I suppose you really have much in common, and you have the same field of research. Either you or Roger Spur and Arjun really engaged in all those prehistorical technology and I don't know, whatever, giantism, mud fossilism, whatever you call it. Just do what you're doing, but stay focused. No, do not watch these pictures too much. This is not very good. If you, I don't know what you guys, doing. If you see something like, what you see, which is like, feet and some stuff like that. If it's really a feet, or food, I don't know. You guys supposed to, like, prove it somehow, not just point in this picture. This is not very good proof. I don't know. It may sound very nice for a couple of months, but when you post video after video after video after video, and you don't have anything, well, anything more than just pointing us those pictures and saying this is completely something that you see, uh, for some people it may look not what you see. Like, maybe this is just a pile of mining waste, and which turned into stone or concrete, whatever you call it, and that's it. And those water canals which are engaged to pressure out all those uh, liquid, which is used as a solution to increase the mining, uh, leaching metals of underground, and you have this as a byproduct, and it may look any kind of way, and people turn it in the constructions, and I don't see anything more than that. Just the, maybe blocks, or maybe stacks of metal leaching uh, waste, paste, or whatever. So just not what you guys see, and it's not only me. Trust me. If everybody would be agreed with you 100%, you would already have like thousands and thousands of subscribers. You don't have them, guys. And you do it a lot longer than I do. And I'm saying this is not very very good for this is very good, in fact, for a channel which is like 1 year old, like mine channel. I'm doing I'm posting those videos for a year and a year. This is okay for me, and not you guys. You're doing like 3 or 4 years. Just, I don't trust these pictures that much as you do. Okay, so, and also we have a question from one of my subscribers, I guess, which is Mark Olson. He was like very, very interested in this life creations channel, which gave him my name. That is, if you don't know him, is a Finnish guy, and he is very nice. He's always talking very polite, and that's the great example for you guys to communicate with each other, between bloggers, between the researchers or truthers, whatever you call them. We have to talk like that. We have to talk, not like throwing crap in each other. So he was like traveling to Russia on June 21, and so he was like having um, a pathway through all those cities that he wanted to visit, like the sites of all Tataria and stuff like that that I was talking about in my previous videos. So I gave him like 5 cities, so he went, and he even had like this mass media posting about the research of Tartaria. That's him probably. So he's like a hero in one of those newspapers. So that's probably it. And so he didn't find anything about those giant trees, and he didn't find anything about. Oh, let's read what he's like. When you have time, he's like, referring to me. How many people do you think were lived and were killed in the towns along the Arctic Ocean in old Tartaria? To old hunting men said, the fires came and burned the forest, then the water came, and then the cold. The woolly mammoths could not take all the swamps and died. I'm from Washington State. New research is saying this was Tartaria before. Shall I do some research with all Indian tribes here? So I said, yes, you're doing great. And I'm saying that trees were cut before uh, those people take their records. I mean, those locals that told him about fires and stuff like that. So I'm talking about the great trees that were cut way long before that. So he's like surprised. Cut, not burned. So we have to differ two trees stories. First was ancient giant trees, and the second one was just the fire that or strikes that burned all those trees, which probably evaporated many water in the atmosphere, which resulted in the freezing rain, ice rain, whatever you call it, which could actually freeze the mud so fast, so mammoths stuck in it and still remaining very fine, because it's not that long as they say, like 10,000 years, 8,000 years. It's not that long. It was like 300 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever. It's not that long ago. That's why they are still fresh, and dogs and local people sometimes eat it when they go hunting and find such great corpse of mammoths in the mud. So also he is like saying, when I visit one hunting guy, the ground was covered in white sand and the black earth. He was building a new latrine, and in the 10th deep hole, it was pure white sand. So that kind of proves that it was covered with this mud and sand, as I was saying. Just the flood brought all this stuff. One night we camped on a sandbar in the river. The sand looked like powder, very fine. So probably why not? So I threw it in a handful, and it discovered just like ash would. We cannot say what can happen to ash of those burned trees. Who knows? Maybe it was washed on all this area, which is really great area, and it's stretching for thousands and thousands of miles in the Arctic shore. Philip, after my 3 weeks trip across Russia, I met several people very much interested to learn more about Tataria and the cover-up conspiracy. They know the government enlists propaganda people all over the place. Then there are others, mainly from academia, who don't believe any of it. I completely agree with it. Are there any good sites in the Russia language I can refer them to? They can easily find what they can find if they just Google it. Trust me. You don't have to send them any links. But anyways, those sites that were pretty aggressive in bringing information to the people. I'm saying when I'm saying aggressive, I mean they were like propaganding the alternative way of thinking and stuff like that, which was resulted to blocking and banning of all those sites. So whatever you send the website domain name, it's probably not already working. It's not working already. It's been banned and stuff like that. So there's no use of sending this information. But they can find it if they search and Google, and they'll find many articles which have a reference links to somebody. So that's probably the way we can do it right now, because all those websites which do a massive good job in promoting all those alternative history theories, they just get blocked. So you may find people who just posting one or two or three articles, or maybe doing something more soft like I do, like talking about mud floods and stuff. Well, sometimes I have uh, very, very bad videos for them, but still, I think they don't block me because I'm talking in English, not in Russian. So that's the only way. But they did attack my personal computer. So if that is something that you want to know. So one girl in Surgut who did translating at the Hanti villages said there is no way to grow all trees there. It's too cold and too wet, she says. And mammoths were 10,000 years ago, not 200. So why don't you ask her to go and find somebody who ate those mammoths and ask him how old was that meat probably looking like. Uh, just just find me something that is 10,000 years ago, and find me and say that it is in this condition, very decent condition, like those mammoths are, that you can eat it. I bet you won't, because there's no way you can find that. And of course, you cannot grow trees right now there, because the temperature is just not that hot that it was at that time. When I said hot, I mean Russia had very warm temperatures and had really nice weather at that time, until it did change. And we have plenty of proof of that, because Russian churches don't have a two-door system, which is supposed to be implemented in all those buildings which uh, are built and constructed in the cold weather territories like Russia, Alaska, whatever, Siberia. So you have like two-door system, and you have like an air pocket which keeps the warm air inside the building. So we see that this two-door system only was implemented on the buildings which was built in the end of 19th century. So before the half of 19th century, before the first in the first part of 19th century, in the first half, and even earlier than that, Russia was a lot warmer. That's how mammoths could been living there and eating there, because what can you find in the cold tundra to feed a 10 ton, which is 1,000 kilograms, 10,000 kilograms any in weight, which is a huge animal, which is supposed to eat like almost a ton of trees and branches and bushes or tree and grass and whatever. It's supposed to feed itself. How can you feed it if you don't have a good weather? There's no way. They would be extinct after the first winter. So if we had winters like we have it right now in Russia, in that area, which is like 9 months a year, there's nothing could be growing to feed those uh, multiple mammoths, numerous. So he's saying, "Hi Philip, I'm back home in Washington State. I just made contacts with two coastal Indian historians or whatever, and we'll visit them in 3-4 days. I asked one about Russians, Tataria in 18,000s or 1800 or before. He wasn't familiar with it. I did get recommended this book, which dates back to 1808. Is there any good information you have that I can tell them about? I remember reading about Pugachev was killed in 1775. The colonies on the American side were not so eager to join the Romanovs. Is that true? I don't know. You guys supposed to talk about the War of 1812, which was started in 1806 and ended in 1816, but it was called the War of 1812, which was probably on the east coast of United States, but the west coast and at that time was completely Russian, guys. Just find out. Russians were located in North America. Alaska was Russian. Even San Francisco was Russian. So I think the Washington State was also Russian and had some Russian villages or towns. Probably that's the attempt of Russian kings to get control of the broken empire, which had a huge part in North America. So I don't know. Did I answer your questions? There probably no books I hear. You were supposed to read the old books and find the reference of those historical facts about Tartaria. And West Coast is famous about Florida and New England kingdoms, which were actually in 17th century. So you guys might as well try to find something about those kingdoms, because Florida king and the king of New England looked like Indians on the pictures. They looked like white Indians. When I say Indians, I mean Indian heads. They had those feathers and stuff like that. Also, I met a bunch of pictures of uh, white-looking faces of Indians in the end of 19th century. They were made there, probably like a 30 pictures or so, something like that. So, and that was actually from archives of one of the American sites. I don't know. So let's see if we have any questions here. You guys say well said, with some respect for each other and the research they are doing. We are better, and then throwing mud at each other. And yes, at some subjects they have to be more evident sometimes. Thank you, Dick Walls, Richard, I think. Um, thank you guys for watching. I hope I will come up with more videos pretty soon because I have pretty much job, and uh, I hope to see nice relations between our research community. So thank you for watching this, and see you later.